Hey everyone, we're back, we're live. If you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, hit the bell button, like and leave a comment. Hope you are very well. Now, we do need to talk about a few things. First things first, the fact that I have a beautiful looking number here, 30,000 subscribers on my YouTube. I'm obviously blown away by it, so I want to say thank you very much. It means a lot, obviously. Gonna wait for a few people to jump on, say hello. I'll probably tweet it out as well, given the fact that I do need to probably most likely tweet out this lovely little YouTube link to make sure people are aware I am live. Come on, jump in, guys. So yeah, for the benefit of the people who have just turned up, obviously what you can see here, well, let's just say 30,000 subscribers. I'm absolutely blown away by it. Really am. There is going to be more competitions coming, so which will be pretty damn cool, in my opinion, overall. So what the plan is, I'll be doing some gamified, sort of gamification, reward-based kind of giveaways on my Twitter, and obviously you can get involved. I love communities, obviously, what I've built as a community on my brand, what I've built as my company. Ultimately, I've got a Telegram group, I've got all this kind of good stuff, so I want to try and reward you guys with free crypto every single month. Because the one that I did at 25k was pretty good. I'm going to do it every month, which will be pretty decent. So let me know how you're doing. Obviously in the comments, people are obviously trickling in now, which is good. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Let me know where you're coming from and whatnot, and we'll start talking. I know today's video, you're probably looking at the subtitle and the thumbnail and going, oh shit, you know, bollocks, what's going to happen here? So we'll go through what I think is going to happen with Bitcoin. Will it be good for altcoins, all kinds of stuff like that. But for me, I don't want people to panic too much. What I'm going to show you anyway, straight away, is when you go onto CoinGecko and you go onto the BTC side of it. So if you go onto CoinGecko and then on this right-hand side here, you've got this like element of tables, like fuck. You know, you want to go onto Bitcoin. You want to see what the Satoshis are like overall. And you can see on the last 7 days here, in the last 24 hours, it's actually all right, you know. No need to panic. Like I've been saying to like my paid group and stuff like that. Yeah, great, happy days. We're all up in Bitcoin, happy days. Yeah, we're down in fiat. It sucks, but we want to grow crypto at the end of the day. So yeah. So where you're all coming from? Oh God, there's all kinds of places, all kinds of good places. I wish I was in Malta right now. I'll be honest with you. Ireland. Thoughts on Dot look quite good. I'll come to questions in a bit. But yeah, I'm already seeing people saying, nah, 20k. But it's a prediction. It's a speculative kind of element. But there's a lot of confluence with that 20k model or that 20k region, especially if you put a fib on there, especially if you put all kinds of different metrics to that. So we'll talk about it. But I want to talk about mainly alt season as well, because dominance is still coming down. This is good for Bitcoin. Dominance, essentially, if Bitcoin does tail off and if altcoins continue to grow, they look quite strong. When you look at the likes of Ethereum, the video I did yesterday about it, if it breaks above that grey box that I mentioned, it's send mode. It really is. And it will, if it breaks above that 2018 model, essentially, that whole region, it's pretty damn savage. Goodness me, there's all kinds of people around the world. Problem is with the UK time, it's a pain. But by the way, just to let you know, on Sundays, so Sunday coming, when my videos go live at 7:30 p.m, I'm going to do a live. So coming up this Sunday, 2 days time, normal time sort of when my YouTube's published. So when people are chilling out waiting for Monday, especially in the UK, or if you're in America and stuff like that, and you're like winding down for the weekend, I will be doing a live, which will be pretty damn awesome. But yeah, it's great to see so many people all over the place. So let's talk about the market. Now, this is what I've got on my chart straight away. Obviously, a lot of green, the market has bounced. And we are forming a downtrend. It doesn't look like it on the weekly time frame. If I zoom in here, you'll see it. So when you put a Fibonacci on from the start of the move from March to the top, 42k, we have confluence between a number of levels. We've got the 50% retracement, which is 23k. We've got the 618 at 18,300, and we've got the previous all-time high, which is obviously here, which is obviously given from this point. I personally believe we are going to trickle down to that point at the worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. I do think 27,000 will come into play, but the only reason being is because when you go on the lower time frames, on the daily, on like the 4 hour, we're forming a downtrend. And yeah, I know it sucks, but I think if this slowly trickles down for 2-3 months, we're going to make a lot of crypto. We really are, especially if you understand the metric between alt seasons and how it all kind of works. So let me know in the chat, what do you think? Do you think we are going to go down to those numbers? I will back it up in a minute. I want to see what people think. I know already people have said, no, it's not going to happen, but what if it happens? You know, if we trickle down for the next 2 months, down to that, you know, that 30K level, down to like, from that 30K level essentially down to like 25, down to 20. And I mean slow, like slowly trickle it down. I think it'd be great for altcoins because the dominance will just shoot downwards, obviously. So when you look in the daily time frame, we're starting to form a downtrend. So we've got obviously the high, we've got a low, lower high, lower low. I personally feel that from this point here, we're going to retrace back up to maybe 35K, give or take around that level. Maybe even miss that and actually just turn around at 33K and then continue going down. When you look at that extension level alone, by the way, so if we are going to pop up to this level and we've got some extension levels, we may actually see, oopsie, we may actually see this 21K level, which is confluence between all these kind of levels, previous all-time highs, previous levels, confluence. That could also happen. That could realistically happen, in my opinion. So it is a downtrend at the same time. It's a textbook downtrend, and I know people don't want to see it, but it doesn't matter. You know, we'll tell you what we will do. We'll look at bull cycles. We'll look at the previous bull market and what the retracements were. It was 40, 50, and even 60% retracements in that period. Now, what happened? Well, nothing. It just carried on going. And we'll look at long-term targets as well. But when you look in the 4 hour as well, it looks very obvious when you look at it. You've got this solid M pattern, which is a textbook kind of retracement where we've pulled back up from this low. We've formed a lower high, which kind of sucks. But what we seem to have formed here is obviously this low and then another low just below it. So personally, I think we're going to pull back up a little bit and then we're probably going to go lower again and genuinely retest that 30K level at least, and then probably down into 27 and maybe 25 and then maybe 20K. But I think we'll front run. I think people will buy it anyways. I think people will buy that before it even happens, literally before it all happens, before it all kicks off and gets mental. I think people will genuinely get in front of it and probably buy it beforehand, which is my honest opinion with that. But when you start looking at these lower time frames, you start like looking at it, it's like it is starting to form a downtrend a little bit. It's going to retrace. It has to retrace. But that is good, in my opinion, for alt seasons, in my opinion. Overall, when you look at the grand scheme of things. When you look at the past cycles and you're looking at like the weekly time frame here on like the previous move, you can see like all of these little directional like pullbacks. This one, let me just make sure I get that up. Let me have a little look. See, that was a one there. That was 42%. That's quite a savage little one. You know, you look at this top here to this bottom. That was another 41%. You know, it's not unrealistic at all to see this happen. You could probably argue that one candle there is one at 30%. Yeah, they're savage. I know, they're savage. And I'm seeing all the questions going, oh, you know, ultimately, I think 27K is probably the most likely. I think that 32.8% level on the fib is somewhat key, but it's a bullish market that could respond very, very nicely. But if it doesn't, you know, don't expect it to hold forever. It may not happen. But when we start looking at the grand scheme of things, what we've actually retraced anyways, now, why does this not work as well? There we go. You know, we're only at 32% roughly now. Okay, 32% correction. Will we get a 38 into 40? Well, maybe, you know, most logical. But if there's panic, and if there is genuine panic, we may well see 20K. That's what my overall opinion is, because I think a lot of new people here, a lot of people are like scared a little bit. And you got to think, all these altcoins in the previous alt season, when they popped, like look at Chainlink as a great example, went all the way up to 20K, went all the way down to 7. It's like, oh my God, where's it now? Well, it's all-time high. But if I zoom out a little bit and we want to look at where the extended targets are, we could actually go from this point and we retrace and then form the next leg up from the correction into the summer, potentially, who knows, up to 65K. Everyone in the world would accept that, would be happy with that. But I think, personally, I think we're going to correct a bit further. I think we are in that downtrend. It's going to get a bit ugly, but it is, in my opinion, good for altcoins. When we start looking at the data and what we've got, and already we're seeing a lot of green, a lot of bounces, a lot of good momentum. But what held strong, and as I mentioned at the start of this video when I went live, the Satoshi values of all the altcoins are holding strong. Look at that. The last 24 hours, we hardly lost anything. I was down about 1% yesterday in Satoshis. yeah, my fiat value, my USD was down like 12%. It's like, oh, fuck, you know, it's horrible. But at the same time, looking at the Satoshis, look at all these looking good. Chainlink looks strong. Polkadot looks strong. Cardano looks strong. The DeFi space essentially looking very, very good. Ave's looking good. Tezos is actually looking good. Tezos been on the arse for ages. Been waiting for that to move for a long time. But yeah, you know, we're stacking sats because I think alt season is pretty much almost ready to go now. We're about to get the ball in the air and slap it over the net essentially and go for it. So it could be very, very interesting. But for me, you know, looking at, I think, as I mentioned yesterday, this is a catalyst chart. This is the boy. If we break above this grey band, it's fucking hallelujah. It's boom. And look at yesterday's like sort of levels. If I look at yesterday's candle, hardly even winced at this drop yesterday. Yesterday was cataclysmic for, you know, Satoshi values. Not Satoshi value, sorry. In the world of like fiat, like 8% drop in that, it went with the market, it was fine. But today we've pretty much made it all back up. It's not really done anything. Whereas you look at the USD prices, totally chalk and cheese. It really is. It like that was a cataclysmic drop, obviously because Bitcoin weighs very, very heavily. It's 21% drop and actually went even lower, about 25% from that open to that wick. So it always helps to have that, you know, that number in your head, that BTC level. So when we're looking at this, we are, in my opinion, for me, personal opinion, not financial advice, looking very, very healthy for the Ethereum. We're an EMA 8 tap, and I think we're going to continue going higher, but we need to get above this grey band. This grey band is key. Once we get above that band, there's been a huge drop in the past in 2018. As you can see, that huge gap there, that gap will need to be filled. If that is filled, there'll be hopefully less liquidity of sellers up there, and we'll run. And that will bring the dominance down. That will bring it down to sub 60, potentially down into the 55 below, which is what we want. And if it goes that low, everything's going to rally. And you're looking at all the other BTC pairs, looking at the likes of Cardano. I mentioned this yesterday on the video. I'll remove the noise. We're a lot lower than that previous high from the previous alt season. Like, they're undervalued, and we need a stable, boring shit, ugly Bitcoin to slowly just trickle down. If it trickles down to 27 and just stays there and doesn't react much, great. It's going to let these run. We're already seeing the reaction to it of a slow, steady Bitcoin. Right now, Bitcoin is up 5% on the drop. Ethereum's obviously up double it. You know, all the altcoins are looking very, very tasty on this right-hand side here. It's looking really good. Obviously, I'm kind of in the way a bit. But, you know, it doesn't take much to work out why it's green, how is it green. And the Satoshi values are strong because they're held strong over the last few days, which is always, always key. So, hi everyone. Hope you're good. So yeah, it's good to know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in terms of, do you feel it's like an alt season coming up soon? When you look at the dominance chart, it's certainly looking very, very exciting for me personally, as an opinion anyways. I think it's looking quite good. I know a lot of people are talking about, is it alt season? But for me, like, the element that if Bitcoin goes down and dumps the market, it doesn't, you know, it hasn't done that for a while, because the reason being, and I want to explain this as well, the total 2 chart is still going up. It would be a different kettle of fish if this was trending down. It's not. In periods where it's trending down, this is basically your bull market and bear market cycle, right? This is telling you, is money going into the market or is it not? When it's going down and trending down, it's not. It's shit. You know, it's boring. When it's trending up, like the whole market capitalization, of the, you know, the entire market, excluding Bitcoin, is that going up? Well, that's good. That's bullish. It's like a bull market, in my opinion. And yeah, there's interest. There's all kinds of good stuff. But for me, you know, this is going up, dominance is going down, fair game, because any dump that happens with Bitcoin, altcoins kind of shrug it off in a minute. Yes, USD prices will dump because of Bitcoin, but ultimately, you're growing your sats. If you've got the Delta app on your phone, honest to God, you will be up so much in Bitcoin if you're looking at that. And, you know, what would you rather have? An extra half a Bitcoin now because you held a few alts, you took your profits because dominance was going down and carried on going down and you were making that, and then you can cash out at the other side when dominance is high again? Well, yeah, definitely. You're going to make way more money overall, in my opinion, especially if if you're buying altcoins and the dominance is on the floor and it goes up, you just bleed out massively. Let's have a little look at some questions. Yeah, alt season is coming. Uniswap rendered too expensive with Ethereum. Yes, in my opinion, I think it's an absolute waste of time at the minute. Like, I know it's hard to kind of believe, but the use case of a very, very popular Ethereum and you can't use it doesn't really turn me on. Like, why would you want to pay $35 or up to $70 to do one transaction? Like, there's people that are brand new in the space don't know this, that you buy an Ethereum, yeah, and then you buy like an ERC20 token, you go to transfer it somewhere, like, what? Where's my Ethereum gone? It's like, just vanishes. It's like, fuck. You know, it's a pain, but we knew this anyways. We knew this in 2017 when it happened. It was worse in 2017 in some places as well. It was crazy. Obviously, CryptoKitties broke it, but that's the thing. Scalability with Ethereum, once that's sorted, it's going to be really, really good for transferring and scalability. It's going to be really, really good. What other questions have we got? Got some random ones. I wouldn't class it as a dump. Like, for me, altcoins to dump, it would mean that there's going to be mass panic, and I don't see mass panic. I see a lot of interest in altcoins because of risk reward. People are interested right now. It's bullish. The news is good. Like, yes, there's been a bit of FUD, and we tend to laugh it off and just joke about it. But that's the bottom line with crypto. We always get the FUD. We always get the people that go, oh, it's used for illicit activities like terrorism. Fuck off. Go away. Go and eat your crumpets or whatever. Just chill out. You know, those sort of people will never get it, but they try. Like the double spend FUD. Great. That was well researched. Honestly. You know, stuff like that will always upset the apple cart with new investors. Us lot who have been in it for a while, crack on. Easy. You know, this chart, beautiful. You know, for me, market is strong. Yes, we've had a bit of a wobble, but it's still looking all right. Still trending up. Even if it does take a few weeks off, we've seen it in the past where it does take weeks off, it will blast up again, and it has done over again. So, other things to talk about as well on this. I'm obviously talking a lot about dominance chart and the total 2 chart, but the fundamentals is all in your head. It really is. It's psychological. When you start seeing things drop like an absolute stone, people they think, oh, you know, they'll go on Reddit, they go on Twitter, they go on this, that, and the other, and they're like, oh, alt season's over. Realistically, no. You know, we'd know if alt season was over when Bitcoin rockets to the moon and all the Satoshi values just go to red. It hasn't happened. This hasn't happened. And you see here, the last 7 days here now, on the top 100, look at the growth in some of these coins. You know, if you had a decent bag of a few of these, you're laughing because you've got so much more Bitcoin to play with in the future. Accumulation phases are always good when the BTC dominance is high. You can just buy those altcoins when they're cheap again. It's great. It's absolute fun and giggles. But yeah, it's absolutely fine. But for me, what I'm keeping an eye on, just to let you know as well, obviously, most people know my bags. You know, if you look at my watch list on every video, like if I move a little bit to the right or to the left even, you'll see what I pretty much hold, right? They're the ones that I'm always keeping an eye on. I think the likes of Cardano is undervalued. I think Polkadot is still going to go on a run. I think obviously RSR is, in my opinion as well, RSR, let's talk about this briefly because it's starting to get exciting now. I've talked about this on yesterday's video. This is looking likely it's going to pop. It's going to go bang soon, in my opinion. Obviously not financial advice. There's a monster RSI divergence here, monster, right? We've been held back by this resistance point. If this gets sent, it gets sent. It's gone. This will easily just go bang. And if it does, great, because it's going to hit that 7 cents level very, very quickly. It's probably going to go even higher, depending on obviously what Bitcoin's doing. If Bitcoin takes a turd on us, it's a bit of a different gravy, isn't it? But, you know, for me, we're looking at those Satoshi values, and it does grow this 106% or even 100%, say, give or take, around to this candle. We just make up this gap, this retracement. Banter. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be great fun. And like I say, if Bitcoin stays stable, it'll be fine. But don't worry about the USD prices. So, you know, people obviously forget that. But just be careful with, you know, this is why I'm saying when dominance is high, you've got all these low scooping orders when you use your Bitcoin. When you've done a cycle and you go from high dominance into altcoins and you go to low dominance back into Bitcoin, and you've got a load of Bitcoin just you can use, right? And you get all these little lows in the BTC pair, and you're like, oh, you get so much more coins for your money because Bitcoins obviously continue going up in fiat. And this is just, you're getting more and more money, you know, more and more coins for your buck, essentially. And then you accumulate, and then you carry on just taking those percentages and flip them all the time. It's great. It's the same. You can do the same in USD, obviously, when it's low and high, whatever, but it's just a lot easier doing it this way, like using that one big indice metric. It makes life so much easier. It's great. But yeah. Let me know what you think. If you think it's easy for me to like talk about it in BTC values or USD, Obviously, you can do both on videos and stuff like that. I am planning to do more videos on both of them, especially as analysis. Not so much like an overview of coins, but more analysis to kind of understand when's it good to buy, when's it not good to buy, all kind of stuff. FOMO, you know, keep your hat on sort of thing. It works every time, but there's all kinds of stuff here, and I think people are slowly starting to get to the idea of it, and it's looking quite good. But for me, you know, BTC is king. It should be the one that we always, you know, look to accumulate, for me, as my opinion. Oh, there's all kinds of questions, which is always good to see. Hi everyone, welcome to the world. If you've not yet subscribed, please do. Obviously, I'm doing a live again on Sunday, so the next time you'll see me be live again, we'll do a look towards the future week. And yeah, let me know where you're from. Smash the like button as well. Just come on, there's YouTubers that are growing stupid levels, and I've not really grown yet, so please make it happen. Just a little plea. I'm only joking. I won't make a FOMO video just yet. Pi Network, is it a scam? I think so. I think it's really, really dodgy in my opinion. I think personally, I know by looking at the data, I think it harvests data and rewards you for shite. It's good to see where people are from, by the way, because I think it's really interesting. I wish I was in sunnier climates. I'm in England, it's shit. And let's be honest, with England, right, we're crippled with this coronavirus, like literally crippled. We're an island, right? Get this, right? A little bit of randomness. We're an island. We're riddled with it. We managed to stop anyone coming in during the war, but we can't stop a virus. How does that work? You know, my honest opinions. What else have we got? We've got all kinds of stuff. Do you hold any ZIL or DOT? I hold tons of ZIL and DOT, and I just noticed who the name was there, Pinky. Nice one. What else have we got? Yeah. By the way, as I said about doing my live on Sunday, it'll be at normal video hours, so it might be a different audience, because obviously people be awake and stuff like that. I wish I was in Florida. That's mean. People taking the piss out of the club that I support. Honestly, I'll punch you when I see you. Joking. But yeah, it's great to see everyone here, obviously. But let me know what you want me to discuss, talk coins-wise, because I don't mind talking about certain things, especially if I know them. If I don't know them, I'll probably ignore it. But any you know, for me, it's always good. People are just loving leads right now. Why are people just repeating leads? You know, it doesn't make any sense. Do you think Liverpool will stay in the Premier League? Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't get too bad. I mean, dear me, we ultimately struggle scoring goals right now. Premium members do not get the same as my YouTube subscription. So my YouTube subscription is just a monthly video, a little bit of a lesson, a little bit of a community. It's basically to back my YouTube for future content, for like better equipment, for going further. I'm going to be doing other types of content as well moving forward. It's been kind of shunned by the coronavirus, but that's just a little bit different. It's more to support the channel, because a lot of people were asking me, do you have a tip bot? I don't want people to give me crypto. I want people to just like pay £1 or whatever the price is, for £3 or whatever, to just get involved. Premium's totally different. You get a daily video, you get Zooms as well. It's a community, like 370 people now in that one community. It's one of the best communities ever. And yeah, we all help each other. There's a lot of people probably watching this video from that as well right now, which is good. But yeah, every morning I do a video, I do a roundup of the market, what's happening in the news, stock markets as well. I have a little look to see what could affect us. Yeah, it's pretty damn decent, but there's a lot to talk about every morning, so I do that every day. What else have we got question-wise? There's a mega Leeds fan in this chat, which is quite funny. The correction isn't over. No, I don't think it is. The correction, for me, personal opinion, I think we're going to see Bitcoin dump a little bit more. Like, hopefully it's gradual. I don't want it to be dump. I don't want people panicking because it's a crash. You know the other influencers like, oh, it's a crash. It's dropped by 2%. Fuck off. You know, you got to remember, a lot of new people are coming to the market. You've got to be calm and measured. I am. I personally think that a nice gradual little decline, lovely, be fine. You know, altcoins will go absolutely turbo tits, in my opinion. I think I've already mentioned it and covered it. Like, certain coins are like this. They're low and they've been held by historic resistance levels, like, for a long time. And like, this one's quite recent. But when you look at the like of Ethereum 2018 levels, it's like, oof. You know, if that goes, it's going to get very, very interesting. Quick look at Ankar. Now, I've never really looked at this coin, I'll be honest with you. So let's have a little stab in the dark. So for me, undervalued. First look at it. I don't know what it is, not a clue. But if you're looking to buy it, that's probably one of the best places you can buy it, in my honest opinion. Just quickly looking at that in BTC. On the 3-day chart, it's starting to put its head above the parapet here of the EMAs. It's looking quite decent. Bear with me. But yeah, that could, like, this is what all I don't think people have realized is all altcoins look like this, apart from the likes of Chainlink and VeChain and a few others that have done all right. But, you know, when you look at this and you think, well, where can it go? It's currently what, 34 cents, right? Sats, sorry. If this goes up to like the 618 and retraces that entire move, it's like, it's a great gain. That's a massive monster gain. But it depends on the fundamentals. I have no idea what this coin's all about. I'm not a Scooby, right? But let's just say alt season kicks off and we go up to that level and retest where the previous alt season was, 211%. So if you had 1 Bitcoin in there, you guess what? You've got 2 extra for free. You've now got 3. Boom. Happy days. So, you know, you got to look at these kind of pairings and see, well, if that moons and if money flows into this and we get a bit of momentum, we get a same sort of situation of this historic rise as last time, winner, winner, chicken dinner. Every coin will do it. Every coin. That's why it's called alt season. It gets very, very exciting very, very quickly, which is brilliant. I've already talked about the 20k analysis. If you want me to go over it again, I personally believe that we got 618 levels at 18,300. We got the 50% at 23k. But when you start looking, just because I know people have missed this bit. When you start looking at the higher time frames and start dribbling into these dailies, we're starting to see a formation of a downtrend. So we've got obviously a formation of a high, a low, lower high, lower low starting appearing. When you go into like the 4 hour and you start looking at it in more detail, you're starting to see it appearing clear as day. I think we're going to pop back up into this 35k level and then maybe dribble down. But I think 27k, maybe even into the 25 and 22k, but we could see wicks into that, easily into that 20k level. But that is obviously historic sort of elements of previous all-time high, which is kind of important. But for me, moving forward, I think a correction of this magnitude is absolutely fine. I've always talked about it. It's not uncommon to see a 40% drop in a bull market. You know, they always recover. It's always pretty damn decent. What else have we got? What are your thoughts? My price prediction on RSR, for me, right, just to put this out there, I think it's megally undervalued because they haven't had a mainnet yet. Mainnets always pump coins, but I think the use case of RSR is like solid as out. I think more assets under management for when they do that element of like a peg, I think it'd be very, very good. And I think it'll get a lot of mainstream media adoption as well because of who's involved, because of what it's doing as well. It's a really big thing. So I'm not going to put a number on it, but I will say I won't expect it to be around 4 to 5 cents anytime soon for long, in my opinion. I think once mainnet gears up, once that releases, or once it gets adopted into more countries, I think it'll do very, very well. And when you look at the market cap of it, and I think, let me have a quick look at this. Let me just have a little look at RSR. I personally think it's undervalued when you look at the grand scheme of things, but that's because there's no real genuine product properly working. It's not on a mainnet yet. It doesn't have a full token utility just yet. Once it does, though, well, fair game. You know, when you look at that in terms of rank, it's 78. It's got a market capitalization. You know, it's not. You know, it's not bad realistically, and that's obviously in BTC. Let me just change that to US dollars so you can understand that in more English. There we go. So it's only $365 million market cap. I think that's savage, really. I think that's going to be into the billions, definitely 110%. But it's all about patience. You know, they've got to build, they've got to do their project, they've got to build it up nice and neat. But there's loads of information here in terms of coins and what they're doing, what they're developing over the future, and you just got to pick them out. Not everything will go to the moon, obviously, but, you know, if you're buying low, selling high, and you're always realizing profit, and most importantly, don't get too attached to them when, you know, because we might get to a time where in 2-3 years' time, we may have like a mega bull run. Stuff like this may go up to like $1, who knows? But if you hold on to it and you don't realize that, well, you know, you got to remember, always enjoy the market, because what it gives you, you got to be generous with that, and you got to think, well, thank you, I love that, I'll take a little bit out, enjoy my life, move it for other investments, just look after yourself as well. At the end of the day, we're investors, that's it, that's the beauty of it. We don't hold things for life because you don't know what's going to happen. But ultimately, if someone said to you, right, RSR would go to say $1, you would instantly, if you were buying at these levels, you would go, I'll probably take a little bit out at that point. No one's, that's a human thing. No one's going to get rid of that, in my opinion. you know, for me overall. But that's my overall opinion anyways. Let me have a little look at this chat. There's all kinds going on here. It's always good to see. Always good to see. Can VET take a correction? Let's have a little look at VET, because yes, I hold it, but I don't look at it every day. I do like VeChain. Obviously, I did a video on VeChain saying it's ready to explode, and it freaking exploded, didn't it? So it's still undervalued. Like I said, this like all-time high levels in USD. It's like, oh my, amazing, and then you're thinking, oh my god, this is a correction that it did during alt season. Alt season last time with VeChain was brilliant, and I still think if you've got Bitcoin, it's still quite a good one. It's obviously just about breaking above structure. You know, this is where this alt season kind of narrative is starting to rumble on. Everyone's like, oh, it's not happening yet. But when you look at the chart and you look, well, RSI divergence, we're breaking above previous structure, we're in an uptrend. It's like, oh, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. That's a daily time frame. When you look at the weekly time frame, it's just looking even more like, wow, crossovers coming. As I said, break a previous structure, let it go. You know, if it gets above this 120 20 sats, sorry, it's probably moon time, and yeah, every single time it'll make some great little yield, in my opinion. But yeah, it's good. It is like, I know people are talking, you know, should we dollar cost average on the way down? No, or on the way up for me. Why do I think Pluton has struggled? It's because no one knows about it. It's not got a full use case yet. It's not got its full distribution of its rewards yet. There's not many card holders that are getting rewards yet. Obviously, as well, not many people want to spend their crypto right now. You've got to think that is a big factor in life. That's why I think the likes of crypto.com struggled recently. And, you know, it's just one of those things. People are in a bull market and hodl, and that's fine. You know, I've not taken profits for a long time because I'm just sat in my position. I'm quite happy. But for me, Pluton token is a low cap or micro cap coin that is a high risk. But the card's good. I've got the card. I've used it. It's nice. I hold some of the token. I don't hold much of it. But for me, if they develop and do what their roadmap says, and they get how many members they get launched in Asia and whatnot, the price will only increase as the rewards will obviously increase, in my opinion. But that's my overall opinion, obviously, on that one. But yeah, I do still believe in it. I still like it. Yes, it's obviously, it's a low cap coin. They always get volatility. How long would you suggest to stake ZIL? For as long as you want. For me, the rewards are still good. You still get GZIL. I don't stake all of my ZIL. I've got some just ready to go, just in case. Like, let's just say the altcoin market goes absolutely berserk. I don't want to be stuck in that 14-day unstaking bonding period. But for me, it'll be absolutely fine. You know, it's decent. Absolute turbo tits. Loving my. People like my terminology, I think. RSR is a US citizen. Uniswap, apologies, the fees are shit, but ultimately Uniswap's probably the best place to go for it, essentially. PokerStart is good. I covered PokerStart not too long ago. That is going on the DOT system, which would be good, which will obviously make it easier for people to buy because it won't be clouded with fees, those really dirty fees that obviously Ethereum do. But it's obviously great to see that they've got some sort of ecosystem there where people are demanding these tokens, these DOT launches. Yes, they're not fully on DOT yet, and they've got to win auctions. But it's good to see what projects are coming out. Obviously, you know, there's all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of, you know, elements here. I don't think Bitcoin could crash to zero. I know that's a question here. Obviously, when you look and study economics and supply and demand and how the Bitcoin system works, it kind of like, if it was going to fail, it would have failed already. It wouldn't fail with billions in it and a whole, basically over $1 trillion in the entire ecosystem of cryptocurrency, give or take right now. You know, there's all kinds of FUD about, you know, miners, double spends, freaking regulation and legislation. It's like, fuck off. Like, if it was going to fail, it would have failed years ago, like, in my opinion. And we all talk about Tether FUD. We all talk about this and the other. Tether FUD's been a narrative ever since I've been in the market, since 2016. There's always been something that, like, upsets people. But the only problem that Bitcoin will ever face is if literally every single miner, in my opinion, gets blown up. You know, if they bomb every single miner, right? That's the only thing that I can think of. And even then, I still think it'll work because the difficulty adjustment will just drop like a stone, and then maybe normal people could mine it again. Who knows? But that's just me talking fantasy there. I cannot see like I see people with really random price predictions. Like I seen someone recently talk about $150. Like, where have you got that from? You know, for me, like it's impossible because there's that many holes. You got to think now. There's a lot more bigger hands in the game now. There's a lot, like the volatility is, in some ways, it shrunk a lot since the previous like 2-3 years. Will we ever see a Bitcoin go into the 4 figures level again? I find it really hard to see that unless there's real damage in the market and there's real economic FUD around us and then everyone's just pulling out. But if people like, you know, MicroStrategy, Grayscale, BlackRock are now coming into the market, if they're coming in, I can't see it going to the floor because they don't short it. They just invest. They hold it. They hold it for investments as well. It's totally different. It's a different game. And yeah, there's always going to be speculation. People are always going to make money on shorts too. But people believe too much in FUD. People look and they don't understand it. They look at all these government officials are like, oh, this, that, and the other. It's all bollocks, really, when you think about it. But like, yeah, there will be cryptocurrencies that will die. They'll always fizzle out. But for me, the likes of Bitcoin, Ethereum, absolutely, in my opinion, fine. Yes, it's expensive. It's horrible to use. It's a pain in the ass. But it's popular. It's got use. It's got demand. Polkadot will most likely get the demand as well. There's other coins out there that will get demand in their own specific niches, like Chainlink, most likely with oracles. You know, they're going to be here for a while, you know, and I just cannot see why people talk and say, oh, it's going to go to like $3. Fuck off. Honestly, like for me, to think that this video title is about 20k and we're talking about this now in the mix of a pandemic and people have already said, no, it's absolutely bollocks. You know, it makes me laugh because we would have snapped everyone's hands off to say that this is going to be 20k. So it's always good to see, you know, in my opinion. But for me, overall, it's exciting times. It really is. For me, it's exciting times. But you got to laugh. You got to laugh at people as well. It's always good fun. But yeah, it's good to see that a lot of people here are obviously listening from around the world. It's obviously good. But it's more the interest that you guys here listening to this are like, you are early. In my opinion, you are the early adopters. Like, you've got to think how many people in your life circle, in your family circle, etc., know about what you do in terms of cryptocurrency. Like, even for me, they don't. It's absolutely scary. Pundy, wow, I've not looked at this for a while. I covered this like 2 years ago when I was kind of interested in, but I think a few things actually changed with what they were doing. And I've not looked at it for a while, but that's like, wow, that's a mental moonshot. But then again, you got to think, well, it's been out for a while too, so I don't know how much data I've got here. Let me have a look at another exchange. Yeah, it's still on the floor. Wow, that is really low. In all honesty, with Pundi, I have no idea what they're doing. I like the idea of it back in 2018, but I've not covered it since. And it just kept melting and melting and melting, and as you can see, you can see where it's gone. But you know, it reminds me of that. It kind of reminds me of Verge in a way, where it looks like that kind of coin where if it gets a bit of drive, it might actually just pop because of what it is, adoption. You know, with the bits and bobs. But overall, in my opinion, it's a risk. It's a very, very high risk. But you know, you never know how far they go. No one would have expected Verge to do what it did in 2017. It was absolutely monstrous. You know, you got to look at it. But yeah, if they are doing partnerships with big financial merchants, then it might be very, very interesting to see what it does. But it's all about research and risk reward. I mean, yeah, there's some great coins out there that I've never even heard of. Like literally, like I look on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, and I'm seeing like 6,100 coins on here. I'm like, I only know about 50 of them inside and out pretty much, because there's that much, like, it's evolving that much. It's like, it's scary. It really is. And people go and message me and they DM me. They're like, oh, can you talk about this, that, and the other? And like, you know, it goes right over my heart, essentially, you know. But you got to be careful with like who promotes stuff and how they promote it, because in my premium group, we've got like a VIP group, and I very often screenshot my email inbox to show people who's doing what. And I often get like influencers like emails, weirdly, like they always forward to me. Don't know why. And like it's like they forget to do the BCC on the email, and like they send it to everyone. It's just great, and I just laugh. Like a recent one was a top YouTuber. I'm not going to mention the name of this YouTuber, but it was Pivex. Pivex were looking for some influencer marketing. No shit, it's on the floor, it's on the deck. Like really, you know, like this was like one of the top coins back in the day. And yeah, I managed to get onto that email. I was like, oh, lovely. So yeah, you just got to be very, very careful with like certain things. But what question I've got? Do you have any suggestions on exit strategy? Exit strategy for me is all based on what the dominance chart is doing. So you've got other things, right? So let me just have a little look at this chart. If we're looking at USD prices, right? Let me just have a little look at Chainlink. This is a good example. Bear with me. So the only thing that you've got, I don't know why that's there. Go away. You've got Fibonacci extensions, which is like a great place to be for price discovery mode. So say, for example, things have went rocket bang, you're like, fuck, where's this going to go? Guessing, right? You've got, you know, Fibonacci levels, right? Which are like normal extension levels that you can use. You can put these on your chart. And it's in here how we topped out on the USD side of it on Chainlink there. We all know, though, that Chainlink, I think, is going to run further. It's going to run a lot hotter. Yes, I do believe that there's some issues with Chainlink, with you know, them team dumping on us, basically. But with that, you've always got this level of where can I get out? When you look at the obvious, you know, the elephant in the room, let's just talk. When you look at the BTC side of it, when I can get the bloody chart, where is it? There it is. This is still low, right? This is still very, very low. So we could retrace, and I mentioned this before previously, like if this does retrace and does like an 80% or even 100%, it's going to double in price and be $40. If Bitcoin goes high again and all kinds of stuff, yeah, it can be even better. But in terms of exit strategy, I basically look at this. I look at, is the dominance still dropping? Cool. Yes, it's still dropping. I can stay in my position. Is it going to keep dropping? If it does keep dropping, well, the chances are either this is going to come down because Bitcoin's kind of steadily just dropping a little bit, or the BTC pair of Link BTC is going to get even stronger and it's going to carry on going up. I want, at the end of the day, for me, personal opinion, is BTC. I don't give a shite about, you know, how much dollars I've got. I only care when dominance is really high and Bitcoin has just went to the moon. So I took a little bit off the table at 37,500, right? A tiny little bit. Because I thought, this is high. It went a bit higher. I was like, oh, fuck. You know, but exit strategy is all down to you, like, ultimately. But if you've started looking at certain things, right, where can we go? Like, for example, with this move here, if this goes up to this level of resistance and doesn't get up, if you held Chainlink and you wanted 80% extra Bitcoin for your buck, you'd probably take it, in all honesty. And then you'd be like, well, if that doesn't happen, cool, happy days, whatever. But if it drops again, you can buy even more Chainlink and just continue your run in the market for as long as you want. Just keep rinse, repeat. Essentially, you just gotta keep it simple. How's RSR going? Absolutely tickety boo. I've mentioned it before. I think RSR with the mainnet, with more adoption in countries, like I think it's a big, like what I kind of mentioned. It's like with the economy going a bit shit with the coronavirus, and we're seeing that real life problem in certain countries. It's going to get some good buzzwords in the media as well, and I think it'll do very, very well, in my opinion. Do you think... Oh, this is a great question. Do you think YouTubers manipulate the altcoin? Yes, they do, and I hate it. And this is why I try and cover big cap coins. And I know a lot of people want me to cover coins, and they go in my Telegram, they go in my DMs. Can you like cover this? Can you cover that? I back what I own, right? Literally. So if you see me talking about Blue Token, it's because I own it. Right, I've got the card. I'll show you the card if you don't believe me. Bear with me. Because, like, for me, I back and I put my money where my mouth is. And it's like Zilliqa. Zilliqa, I love it because I own it. Yes, I'm using my brand to kind of spread the message, but it's a problem, right? I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to mention names, but you can look at the top tier YouTubers. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. If you start seeing a top tier YouTuber telling you that that's their number one coin, but last week they did an number one coin, and it's a different coin, thinking, hold on a minute. And then you see randomly that it's pumped massively. It's one of those things. It's a problem that we've got because the search engines are going to tell us who the popular ones. So if you put in on a search the coin that you've just randomly seen, but mostly it's what you've seen on the likes of CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, or on like an application that it's on your watch list because it's mooned. So if you go on like, even on here, you look at like the top what's done well. On CoinMarketCap, it's even worse because it tells you on the top what are the top gainers, and then people, because we've all got that greed mentality, we all click on it and go, oh, top gainers. Never heard of it before, but I'm going to buy it. You know, that's like, you don't have to do that. You shouldn't do that anyways, let's be honest. But I do think there's a lot of people out there that get misled. And if they are paid, I get so many paid promotion opportunities. It's absolutely unbelievable. And that is why I only cover top coins, because I don't want to, like, I don't see the point of it. Because a top tier coin, like a top 20, top 50, whatever, I can't push that. Like with my brand, with anything, I cannot push that. Obviously, emotional sort of elements happen, a volume spike, people fear and greed, it obviously create a bit of turbo movement. But if you think a coin you've never ever heard of, it's only just been ranked on Uniswap or whatever, and then a big YouTuber with 100, 200,000 subscribers go, oh, boom, by the way, this is my top altcoin, it's gonna pump, it's gonna go turbo, and they've been paid for that. And I don't believe in that. I really don't. Influencer marketing, I'm totally fine with. So if a company gets sponsored, so for example, you know, if you're sponsored by links and that, but if a coin that you've never heard of is just minted a load of coins and they're paying them, that for me isn't marketing. That's just like dog shit, because we've seen it in 2017 and 2018. Look at other YouTubers from that sphere. You know, what's happened to them? Well, doesn't look good, does it? It really doesn't. And I know I'm ranting here, but there's a lot of people out there that promote stuff and they don't put their money where their mouth is and back it up and continue to hold it, which they should. Or even if they're an advisor to the project, they just kind of like sack it off and don't do anything with it. But yeah. I'm only against Ethereum because it's hard to use. Like, for me, as an investor in crypto, I want to be able to use it. Like, I love it in a way that it's popular. It's got a use case. It's great. But for me, I hold one Ethereum, actually. I lie. But for me, it justified my decision going more into DOT, more into Zilliqa, more into RSR at the time, in terms of reward, what I've got. Ethereum will be a bag of mine on the next cycle. And how I'll do it, and I want to explain this as well, you've got an Ethereum dominance chart as well, along with a Bitcoin. You'll probably get confused now. When this goes low again, and when dominance goes higher Bitcoin, the Satoshi values again of Ethereum will be low. So an allocation of my Bitcoin profit from the next cycles or whatever will go into Ethereum, and I will just sit on my position. And that'll be it for the long term. I think I'll still get a very, very good risk reward there, because I do think that the value of Ethereum, when you zoom out in Satoshi values, I think it's very, very low. It only looks good right now is because Bitcoin's grew by like 2.5, 3x since its 10K run. It's scary when you think about it. But for me, fundamental wise, it's popular. It has a lot of information, usage, all kinds of stuff. But it's very, very hard to use it. It's like, I get rewarded in BAT, right? You'll probably laugh at this. It would cost me about $20 to move my BAT from my uphold into a wallet to then maybe even sell or just keep it and keep it securely. It's like, it ruins a use case completely. So that's a thing. It scares me. It scares me that it's so expensive and it's so slow. And like, I often get transactions just sent back to me because there's not enough gas. Like, oh. But if I'm looking long term, I wanted to grow my portfolio this year very, very aggressively, by the way, looking at the likes of Zill, looking at Voyager as well. Like, these companies that I believe in and I'm backing, even though I can't use Voyager because I'm in the UK. But I like the idea. I think there's an idea there that it's going to work better than Crypto.com and better for Americans, because Coinbase onboarding is pretty savage, and so is Binance. But, you know, there's a gap in the market there for Americans to get onboarded easily. That's why I jumped in that. But it's absolutely scary when you think like how much this market evolved and how Ethereum is still the same piece of poo from 2017. It's like, really, they should have sorted it. Let's be honest. We can all say the exact same thing with that one. What other ones have we got? Someone mentioned a certain YouTuber there. That's nice. I shouldn't have. I think Voyager does have another pump in it. I think it's undervalued because, like, it's pumped a lot. Yeah, don't get me wrong. But they've got a lot of rewards coming, a lot of interest programs coming, but they've also got more people potentially to come. If alt season kicks off, it's going to go even more, because more people, we all know it, new people will come to the market. They'll be hitting the search buttons and be like, oh, I'm in America. Oh, Voyager. Okay, boom. Oh, I get rewarded. Oh, I get gifted. Oh, loyalty programs. You're going to go to that, aren't they? They're not going to go to Coinbase for their little $7, are they? Let's be honest. They're going to go to... Because Voyager's a nice looking app as well. And I think that's a really, really big plus, in my opinion. But there's all kinds out there, like now. But for me, Voyager's like the top echelon because no one's known about it yet. And I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, touch wood, they don't do a Crypto.com where everyone knew about Crypto.com. They had the lowest fees. They had everything. And then a bit of wobbles, it all went tumbling down, didn't it? It was absolutely scary. Bitcoin at 32k, this aged well. Well, it's not going to happen overnight, is it? Let's give it a few weeks. We'll see if we drop down to those 27, 25, 20k levels. What else have we got in terms of these lovely comments? I don't leverage trade. I recommend using Bybit because it's the easiest to use for risk management, and you don't have to use leverage. You can use leverage, but you're not at risk because you can use a 1x. So essentially, you can short the market, but no further capital at risk. It's all about how to use it. It's all about how to manage risk. And for me, I've used it loads in the past, done all right with it, but I'm too busy now. I can't be bothered looking at charts all day. I like my life. I value my life too much to then trade. Like I've always been an investor. I've always hobby traded. So little opportunities sort of things. But in my opinion, there's all kinds out there in terms of that. What else have we got? There's all kinds. XRP to $10. I don't know. It depends on the lawsuit, doesn't it? For me, XRP use case is brilliant. Like, for a coin to be so fast and so efficient, it's great. Like, I would love Ethereum to be that. I would, because I use XRP all the time to move. So let's just say what I use XRP for is for money to go into exchanges. So if I've got Bitcoin, I will swap it via whatever way of means possible to get it onto an exchange, because it always takes longer to get Bitcoin onto an exchange. And yes, there's a little bit more fees involved, but it's quick. If I wanted to buy something fast, do I wait a minute or do I wait 30 minutes? Well, I'd rather wait a minute, in my opinion. So that's what I use it for. But it's all about the lawsuit. I personally think the lawsuit will get thrown out. That's my personal opinion. And I think it'll be fine. Overall, I think it'll be absolutely fine. You mentioned Avido. Yes, I did, and I'm gutted. I never bought any, which is really irritating, not going to lie. So I've had Avido on my radar for a while because, Operation Crypto is my community manager in my company. He bangs on about it a lot, right? He does. He'll admit that. I like live music and ticketing. I had an interest, and it was a low cap coin. I thought, you know what? When the pandemic's over with, everyone's going to be gasping and gagging for an online festival. Not so much an online festival, but going out, tickets, go and see the favourite bands again, get the revenue out. And I think, well, they've got everything ready to go. I thought, you know what? Cover this. It's absolutely rocketed, hasn't it? I'm like, fuck's sake. So that's why I'm talking about influence on YouTube. I'm like, oops. That's one of those things. It happened to me. Basically, I did a video and it's pumped and I didn't even have any. I thought, it's a pandemic. It's not going to do anything. Whoopsie. But yeah, if anyone's never heard of it, check it out. In my opinion, they're very much under the radar. It's one of those coins where it's very risky, but hit and miss. You never know. You never know what could happen at the end of a pandemic. Everyone, as I say, let's go out and get pissed, basically, in my opinion. So that could be fun. Oh man, some of these questions are funny. It is fast enough. XRP is fast, but yeah. I know a lot of people love XRP and a lot of people hate it, but alt season's already happening. The dominance is going down. As you can see, if I turn this over to BTC, you'll see that there is glimmers of hope here of an alt season. Everything's green. The altcoins are currently winning. Price predictions for Polkadot, I've said this publicly quite a lot. I think $100 will happen at some point. Even that is still cheap when you compare it to Ethereum market cap right now. Let's just say the altcoin market goes absolute turbo and Ethereum goes even higher than it is now because the BTC values are quite low in Ethereum and the whole market goes mental. It would still be massively behind Ethereum, and it will compensate with Ethereum. It obviously got a lot of coins coming out. So there'll be a lot of hype about it, so it probably will do probably higher than that, in my opinion, if we talk about that. What else have we got? There's a load of people from Leeds. Kind of worrying. Better, as Operation Crypto likes to call it, because he pronounces it like the cheese. It's decent. Gutted about that one as well. It's one of the ones that got away from me. I covered that back in 2019 before no one really knew about it. Very, very low value, and I didn't buy into it. I'm like, bollocks, you know, one of those things that happens. One of my old videos, if you want to take a dive and look at my old style, probably without a beard, probably with hat. I don't know if I had a hat on. But yeah, long time ago when I talked about that. But it's good. Massive, monstrous partnerships. I had a question before, but it's gone. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Bear with me. There was a really good question, and because everyone's talking, I've now lost it. Bollocks. Bollocks. There's a question about dominance in terms of how to read it. And, you know, if you go into, basically go in TradingView, so this is TradingView, if anyone's wondering. I know I get a lot of questions about that. If you put in the index here, BTC.D, it's there, you know. And all I use is just trend analysis. Is it in a downtrend? Is it an uptrend? This is starting to form a downtrend. All the higher time frames are starting to look ugly. We're starting to come down, as you can see, from the daily, 2-day, 3-day to the weekly, looking ugly. And then when you look at the monthly, it's like, oh great, you know, if honestly, I don't think people realize this. If this tanks, I mean tank, and we start going into like sub 50, into the 40s, you're going to be rich. You're going to be rich in Bitcoin. And if you're holding altcoins, you need to take profit into Bitcoin. Just chill the fuck out once it happens. If that does drop, I know I've said it loads in videos and I don't think people get it till it happens, but it's fun. It, like, when you look, right, I'll show you. Bear with me. So the last parabolic alt season, when what I class as parabolic was this. This was the last alt season when it was 2017, i.e. that monstrous period where the ICO boom happened. I don't think this is going to happen, but I think we could trickle down into halfway point, which would 64% right now, give or 65%. If we trickle down to like 52, maybe even into the 48, for example, mental, absolutely savage, and your altcoins will be worth so much more in BTC versus obviously, you know, USD. So you can cash into Bitcoin. It's pretty good. Sharing, yes, I like sharing. Ultimately, again, pandemic probably won't get much use, but it's a one to definitely keep an eye on just in case things take off. Who else have we got? Guys, seriously, I'm not bothered about Cardano hitting a max value. I think it could go anywhere it wants to. You know, what mistake did I make in 2017? Yes, great question. So the biggest mistake I made in 2017 was I took profits, right? But I put most of them in Ethereum because I'm a dickhead. What a dick. So we all know what happened, right? Bitcoin went to whatever. I had a load of altcoins. I was like mega turbo boy scout mode in 2017. I literally had all the altcoins. I made a lot of money, right? I'll be honest. But I took profits into Bitcoin. Then I decided, oh, you know what? I'll hold it in Ethereum. I thought, I like the fact that I'm holding so much Ethereum. But it just tanked, didn't it? It just absolutely tanked. So yeah, I lost a bit of money on that one. For me, overall, it doesn't really matter. You know, recovered. But one thing that is obviously key here is take profit, but leave some of it in Bitcoin. For me, the cycle now is always hold Bitcoin when dominance is obviously low, because when it goes high, you'll make fiat. And then when it is high, you can obviously, if you want to pay off house bills or whatever, you can. But when BTC dominance is low, seriously, if you're in altcoins and Bitcoin dominance goes high, going to get ugly because you just bleed Satoshis, and that was a massive regret of mine. And I learned from it. I've learned a lot since then. I've obviously built my portfolio back up to, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, like if it's in my video, I started from 2k in terms of value, and then from like November to like, I don't know, like end of January, it was like to $250,000. It was freaking nuts, right? I mean, you've probably seen people tweet about it saying, oh, if you got a small amount, and it grows. It does. You just don't realize how much it grows. It's one of those things. It does happen. It's scary. And we're seeing like all the, like, even looking at the screen here, you're seeing stuff up 25%, 34%. Now, that doesn't happen in any other market. It's absolutely savage. It's ridiculous. And you've got to milk it while we're here. I know it sounds like a random thing to say, but we have got to take those profits and build a wealth, build a destiny or dynasty, essentially. It's crazy. But yeah, like, my biggest mistake was, like, I took most of my profits, I just put it in the wrong freaking... If I held in Bitcoin and held those Satoshis, I knew that Satoshis would never lose it. And even if it went down to 3K, I still would have been absolutely fine. But I fucking put it in Ethereum, man. But yeah, that was my biggest regret, in my honest opinion. But hey, everyone. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what other people's regrets were of the last bull run. If this is your first bull market, essentially, it'd be good to know, especially in the comments, because everyone's got different experiences. Everyone's seeing different things. It's obviously interesting. But for me, as an overall speculator in the market, I think we're so early. Like, even still, like, you've got to ask questions around your family. If they've heard of it, well, cool. But if not, you know you're early. What else have we got? My opinion on liquidity pools in yield farming, it depends what you use, because there's so many rug pulls. I mean, I personally don't use them because I don't like the idea of it. Like, I do and I don't, because it's so new. It's untested. It's really... When you start seeing the likes of food coins coming out, you know it's a bit dodgy. But yeah, there's other things out there that are quite good, that are more regulated and more trusting. But there's stuff with mental yields. And if they are mental... probably too good to be true, so just be careful if that is the case. You know, it's always random. I know a lot of people are talking about Tether as a doom, but the way I look at Tether, like USDC coins there, you know, it's audited and regulated. It's kind of cool, and it's just one button pressed from that to that. It doesn't make any difference. Yeah, it'll rattle the market like fuck, I think people will flap like hell, but at the end of the day, life will go on, and there's been worse things that's happened in crypto, and we've carried on going on. You know, that's just the bottom line. Please draw the lines in graph. What? Don't know what you mean. I think eat my ace. I personally believe the 618 levels on the BTC chart, which is around 18k, and the previous all-time high, is a potential speculative area where we could fall down to. If alt season's going to align, and by the way, just to talk about this, just 1 second, if we look at the start of every year, right, January to like the end of February, March, we always get a downtick, and we're seeing it again. If Bitcoin does gradually, and I mean gradually, over the next 4 to 6 weeks, say, trickle down, and it goes down to those levels, it'll be fine. And you see it all the way through time. Every single time, you got another one here, trickles down. You got obviously this one, obviously the massive. So every start of the year, we seem to get this mini alt season, and we tend to get like a much bigger one during the year, which is always nice. We need another one of these, would be beautiful. But yeah, for me, I do feel that we're already forming a downtrend. I've said this a few times now. If you look at the 4-hour time frame, we're forming a downtrend here. Got a lower low here. We're going to have probably another higher low, lower high, sorry, and then probably going to melt further down. I think below 27k, and probably retest this region here easily, and then maybe go lower, in my honest opinion. But it doesn't matter. Whatever happens to Bitcoin doesn't matter. As long as my altcoins and my Satoshis are growing, I couldn't give a monkey's buggery, in my opinion. Altcoins always popping, yep. Stock market crash. I've not looked at the stock market for a while, in all honesty. Let me have a quick gander. SPX, fuck me. It's going to be unsettled, but it's not that bad. Not that bad. I think if the stock market does crash, I think it will obviously bring Bitcoin down, but it might be the catalyst for altcoins to go turbo again. But we'll see. I think there's a lot of hopium with stimulus. I think stimulus will probably rise the market more, might get more interest as well. I've not really spoken much about that. I'm not American, but if that does land in people's bank balances, I think it's going to get very, very interesting overall. What else have we got? Band protocol. What are Satoshis? Satoshis are essentially what Bitcoin is measured in. It's like a tribute to Satoshi Nakamoto. Polkadot. Cardano going straight to the top. I think Cardano will be over $1 at some point very, very soon, in my opinion. Cardano versus Ethereum. I think they're both going to compensate each other with interoperability, which is always good, always key. There's all kinds of there's so many good projects, and that's the thing. Like, not everyone's going to get them all, and like people often comment and say, "Well, why don't you hold this, that, and the other?" Well, I only hold 8 coins. Like, I'm more of a. I'd rather have a lot of quantity of quality versus like a load of stuff. Like, I see people with 50 coins. Like, how do you manage that? Like, 50 coins in drawdown would be savage. So you got to be careful with how much you hold, because it'll get very, very expensive if you want to look to sell as well, especially the ERC20 tokens, because Ethereum gets very, very interesting. What other ones? There's so many questions, but honestly, guys, I mean, the main thing that you got to do in any market is research. Like, whatever you're buying, it sounds really noddy saying this, but you got to think in real life terms. I mean, if you're looking to buy a Hoover, you'd always look at the reviews. You would. It sounds daft saying that, but you got to see, is it any good? Who makes it? Is it expensive? Is it undervalued? Is it on offer? Like, all that random stuff that you take for granted in a normal day, you got to look and do their own research of this. Like, if you're buying a big purchase, like, let's just say a computer or something, or a car, you're gonna properly have a look at that, and you just got to do it. But overall, I think there's all kinds of stuff happening in the market that's very, very bullish. But there's obviously, now you got to just take all the bad stuff and just kind of digest it and think, well, is it real? Is it happening? But people always just panic, and when they start seeing bad news and red, it's like, oh shit. It's like this thumbnail. You're probably going, oh, 20k Bitcoin. Is it the end of the world? Definitely not. Is it going to happen? It could. Definitely it could happen. But what could happen on the flip side? Well, if we do correct and do a really natural, obvious correction, which is nice for the market, we could be looking at much highers in the next coming months. You never know. Markets always, pull back, and Bitcoin's been on a savage, look at this, man. It's a savage journey. It's got to pull back. And if that does go down to those key levels and we grab liquidity, it's going to go way beyond 40k. It's going to go into the 50 into the 60k levels. And people, you got to zoom out, you got to look and see, where's it been, where's its journey. Obviously, if you bought at the top, fair enough, I understand why you're flapping like fuck right now. And I've seen some Reddit posts of people selling the car, selling the dog, selling the house, selling the wife, selling the kid, whatever, and buying all in and Bitcoin at the top. But, market cycles will always predict this, and we've had a monstrous run. If we retrace 40%, let it happen. If that means alt season happens and alts run, let it happen. It's brilliant. Go for it. But yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff in my opinion. So just be absolutely careful with, FOMO, all that kind of good stuff. I don't hold Litecoin, by the way. Never really been that too turned on by it. Can VeChain go to $2? I find that a stretch, in my opinion. There's a lot of supply, but never say never. I said that, when you think back to the 2017 bull run, XRP was about 20 cents. About 6 weeks later, it was $3.30. You went, what the fuck? That just happened. It's crazy, but you never know what could happen. What else have we got here? I'm going to be ending this soon, by the way. But yeah, there's loads of stuff happening, in my opinion. I'm going to next zoom. I'm going to hide more people. Because people are repeating the same things, man. Come on. Bit of dignity. But yeah. Few more questions and I'll probably leave you to the rest of your day. But yeah, as I said at the start of this live, on Sunday evening, we'll do another one. We'll look forward to the week. But yeah, all is good. Yeah, I do believe that this is a good market correction that we've had over the last few days. Alt season, in my opinion, is getting closer and closer. But yeah, it's good. All good. Everyone just wants 50k now. Do you reckon 50k? Because if you do zoom out and you're looking at the other extensions and we have this correction, we could be hitting 52k or even higher. Bear with me. Go. Cool. So who here would like this move to happen? In my opinion, I think anyone would like this. For me, personally. We want alt season to thrive. I want money to be made. Money to be made in that point. BTC will fall to Ethereum. I tell you what, it'll be great if Ethereum does run on its own. I think eventually that will happen, but not yet. But I do think that if this is a mega bull market and the liquidity grab is strong and we do correct, the chances are, if that does happen and it holds, obviously, and we go and retest that all-time high level again, 42k, 50k isn't too far away from 42k, let's be honest, and I think that could happen, definitely. But you got to think long-term as well. You can't just think, is it going to happen tomorrow? No. You know, in 3 years' time, when we're looking back at all this content, were we right, were we wrong? You know, that's kind of important to know as well. It's all about speculation, but the market is still strong at the end of the day. When is my next live stream? On Sunday, so 2 days' time, but it'll be on an evening. It'll be on the times at which I do my videos, so 7:30 UK time, whatever that would be in wherever your country are. Are you a Yorkshire or Lancashire lad? Neither. I'll throw you off, won't it? Don't... People try and guess where I'm from. I was in the military for 6 years, so I'm a bit coloured in my language a little bit. I'm a bit distorted. Whether you can guess where I'm from or not is another thing. Or if I'm still live there as well, another thing. Which I don't. Which is always fun. But yeah, I'm going to leave it. I hope you all enjoyed. As I say, live is happening on Sunday. It's great to have so many people here. Obviously, it's my second live, for God's sake. I mean, pretty damn decent. It's good to see where people are coming from, where they're from as well. Obviously, people are guessing where I'm from. I'm not from Chorley. My accent isn't that broad, is it? Dear me. No. I don't live in Liverpool. I'm not a Scouser anyways, definitely not. I mean, you'd be able to tell from my accent if I was a Scouser. But yeah, I'm not from Newcastle. I'm not from Merseyside. Oh, this is great fun. I could just do this every live. It'd be funny. But yeah, hope you enjoy. Like I say though, be back very, very soon. But if you've not yet subscribed, please do. Obviously, let me get me to the top of that tree. We've all spoke about these lovely little YouTubers that like to shill projects. Let's kind of sanitize the area a little bit, make it a bit better. And no, I'm not from Ireland. Definitely not. Yeah. All is good. Anyways, catch you later. Have fun. And we'll see you again in 2 days' time.